if they want to go for a more solo pick. So I mean, the good thing about Ultimate Baguette now is they're going to be able to ban a few other AD carries away and deny them away as well. The likes of Zeri could be banned, Kai'Sa could be banned, Severe could be banned away as well. There's a few good bans that you could do here over to the side of Fine Dog to kind of pinch their ADC champion pool.
Yeah, exactly. They definitely will feel the pinch with this next banning phase. But speaking of pinch, we are going to get the Wukong come through again. So is it going to be potentially the Wukong into the jungle this time rather than up into the top side of the map? Obviously, we'll see a little bit difference of his Keystone Rune if that is the case. But last time it was played, it was in the top side of the map for the side of Vapo. But obviously, Jax, I don't feel like it's going to be rotated anywhere else. It's more likely going to be into the top side. But the Nasus gets banned out here. Again, a pick that you did mention in the previous series. Didn't get picked or banned in the last series, but this time around, Ultimate Baguette's like, hey, we see it. We notice the worth of this pick.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting here because for Ultimate Baguette, they already have their solo laners, you know, both the Wukong and the Jax. So you're going to be seeing junglers being banned here from Fine Dog instead of supports as well. So I wonder if this Fiora is going to go into the jungle with junglers being banned away, or they want to try and prioritize a jungler for themselves in that last rotation. Can be a bit hit or miss, I guess, in a way, in terms of what you want to prioritize. Of course, there's still a few really strong supports out there that can still be picked, like the Galio can still be picked. Xayah, of course, getting banned away, which is very, very strong against the likes of Varus Jackson. The Wukong tower dive, so a nice ban there.
Yes, exactly. The Xayah being banned out here just kind of makes it a little bit harder for them to go for their Dragon Lane pick here. They still have potential, the likes of the Zeri, like we saw last time in the matchup against the Varus. They definitely need some kind of like long-range poke. Ryze, like you say, definitely has some great scaling potential. He needs the items, but maybe that's the win condition here for Ultimate Baguette, is kind of shutting down Ryze early on. Maybe trying to shut down the Fiora that could potentially go into the top side of the map. But like you said, oh, okay, no, they're flickering. It could be the Galio here coming through, and it would make sense. If you're going to take the Galio, take it for yourself, because if you don't, your enemy team will maybe potentially in the next game. I mean, they could have flexed it into the mid lane if they really wanted to. Actually, no, Ryze is there, sorry.
Yeah, I think the big thing now is that you're against so much AP damage with the Rakan and the Ryze engaging on. So Galio is just a very smart pick against this anti-AP composition. You know, Ryze and Rakan is just doing so much AP damage that Galio is just there to negate all of that and to stop the engages, but also follow up engages as well. You know, if Jax jumps in, if Wukong jumps in, then Galio can follow up as well with his crowd control.
Yep, Jay's been locked in here for the side of Fine Dog, so that could potentially be the ADC. I mean, we saw ADC Jace last series, so potential here for the Jace and Rakan combo to come through once more. I mean, it definitely has the access into the backline, right? Fiora, if this does get locked in, will more likely go up to the top side of the map.
I feel like they're just gonna do the same thing as what Vapo did, I think, in the last series, where they just put, no, was it Vapo or Jobcenter? I think it was Jobcenter actually last series, where they just put the mage that we thought was going to go mid, which was Aurelion Sol before, is going to be Ryze, and then Jace is just going to go into the solo lane. That's all they're going to do. You know, you get baited that this Ryze is going to go into the solo lane, and then suddenly you get a Jace coming on through, and you think Jace is going to go dual lane, and suddenly Ryze is paired with Rakan. So I think in general, that's you know, that's probably what's gonna happen. So you can have Varus Galio against Rakan and Ryze on the other side. Very strong top side of the map though for Ultimate Baguette here. You know, the Jax, Riven, and Wukong have such great early game potential. Riven with the mobility. You can look for some really, really nice tower dives, especially I'm looking towards this Ryze as well. Maybe the Jace might be going bot lane and Ryze might be going mid. I'm not too sure yet what exactly is going on here, because the Ryze looks like it might be mid, and then, I mean, they could switch around the lane still. They could just put Ryze and Rakan in the mid lane and then Jace the other way around. So we'll have to wait and see what they do when it comes to the game itself.
Exactly. I mean, there's only so much speculating we could do, right? It's like, hey, what are they gonna do? It's like, just let them draft it into the rift. We don't need to guess this. I mean, if we guess this, we probably got it wrong. It's 50% chance, but like you said, the Riven here, very good choice here for the side of Ultimate Baguette. We saw it in game number 2. It was game number 1 for International Jobcenter, right, where the Riven was very sort of dominant, especially in the ways it was trying to lock down the enemy team as well. Try to kind of be aggressive, but at the same time, it was just like you can get across the rift a lot easier, a little bit faster as well. So it definitely plays into obviously trying to catch out, especially with the Wukong as well as the Jax access into the backline.
Looks like we had a bit of a bug, unfortunately, in the champ select. It looks like the Ryze was going to go in the bot lane and the Jace was going to go in the mid, but it looks like it's a bit of a bug. So we're just waiting for that to come on through at the moment.
At least we got clarification.
At least we got what?
At least we got clarification that we know where it's going to go.
Clarification. Oh, yeah. That is very true. We know where the Ryze is going to go now. Yes, but it's going to be what we expected. You know, the Varus and the Galio against the Ryze and Rakan. So, I mean, of course, the big thing there is that Varus is going to have, going to have that pushing prio in the mid lane and have that, really aggressive start, especially with the Galio as well. It can be very annoying and very difficult to try and lock down early on. So that's going to be a very, very interesting matchup. But so so Jace is going to go into a solo lane. So it's not what I expected. I was maybe expecting, Final Wax to look for dives onto the Ryze if Ryze was looking into the solo lane, but it does look like Ryze is just going to be paired with the support.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be for the best, right? I mean, Ryze in the early parts of the game doesn't really have the biggest health bars as well. I mean, you don't really want it to go up against like the Varus too soon. Obviously, the snipes coming through is going to be kind of like a Ryze at a bit of a disadvantage because the range from Varus is going to be a lot more hurtful onto such a squishy champion like the Ryze. So having the Rakan there, just to maybe try and like chunk a little bit of that damage coming from the Varus is probably the best course of action here for Findog, especially after losing that game number 1 very convincingly. They've got to be careful on how they approach this game number 2, because if Ultimate Baguette go through with this one and get 2-0, I mean, that's a lot of big picks off the board, right? I mean, they aren't going to be able to use the Galio. They're not going to be able to use the Jax, the Wukong, which has been very kind of frightful within this showdown so far, as well as Varus and Riven as well.
Yeah, exactly that. We'll have to see if there's enough burst damage. There's enough potential here for both of these times. So it seems like we might have a bit longer of a break than what we was expecting. So we're gonna go to a break itself on stream whilst we sort out the bugs, and once we they're gonna basically redraft and pick all the same picks. So everything's gonna be the same in terms of the picks and the bans. We just have to wait for the stream delay to come on through. So we're gonna go to a quick break whilst we get that all sorted. Once we get the bug fixes, we're back in a few minutes, getting ready for game number 2 here of the Rift Legends Showdown. Welcome back everyone to Rift Legends Showdown. We are back here with game number 2. Apologies about the delay. We are now getting ready and raring to go to see what these 2 teams are going to be cooking up for the next game here, to see whether you can try and get the advantage that you need to get a 2-0 if you're Baguette, or whether you can try and make a comeback like Dog.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, last series we watched, obviously, we saw that Vapo was able to get a point on the board in this game too. So with Bindog, obviously, they have a little bit of the same components that they can potentially go for here. A little bit of a difference. Obviously, the Fiora this time around is definitely a change of pace for them compared to, obviously, what Vapo had. But the likes of the Olaf, the Ryze, and the Rakan are very similar, right? So definitely going to see where that upper hand can come from here. Obviously, Patris is on the Wukong into the top side of the map because of Final Wax getting that ribbon lock in towards the end. But look how low the health of Ryze was there at the in the mid lane there. I mean, he looked pretty low, was able to kind of escape. Don't know what kind of went on there. But currently, top side of the map, Faker Apo is definitely having the advantage of range, but level advantage is going over to Patris.
As I mentioned, most of these lanes are really not in favor of Dog in this game. Ultimate Baguette have really nice lane matchups. The Wukong against the Jace. The Wukong's going to have an absolute field day. Varus, of course, in that mid lane against Ryze is also going to have a very nice time. And then Jax against the Fiora as well. Jax has got a change where he can now dodge Fiora's Q with his third ability. So that was a really nice change to kind of you know, help him out in this matchup, and that's probably why they went for that matchup in the bot side. They wanted the Jax down there to go up against that Fiora.
Yeah. Oh, okay. First blood does pop off there to the bot side of the map. It actually is going to be claimed onto Nakamura there, so he gets taken down thanks to Hestes. No doubt the taunt coming through very strong here from the Galio, which we was on about in the first game. I mean, pretty huge taunt, especially into these like early team fights. It's going to be very powerful to lock down your enemy team, and it was definitely enough to lock down the Olaf.
So Final Wax might get a little bit caught out here though, but he should be fine because he has a lot of mobility with Riven. But yeah, the lockdown with the taunt and also Final Wax being down there as well probably helped out. The big thing is there that Riven was also able to invade onto the Olaf, so Riven already has a big lead in terms of gold and also experience. Now they're going to try and look to invade themselves into the top side, but Galio is there to protect the invade. So Olaf himself is only able to get the Scuttle Crab for now and just go away, try and farm up. It's like Final Wax wants to go in though. I mean, Olaf is still not level 5. Oh no, this is absolutely tragic for the Olaf. Still not level 5, unfortunately. You're seeing the Galio taunt coming in as well. Good knock up from the Rakan though. Final Wax able to get the double reset, triple kill for Final Wax. The tower dive coming on in. Rise does get the shutdown, but that's a lot of gold going over to the Riven.
Yeah, Final Wax's final song there. Getting the triple kill, obviously, was given the kill over to Invili on the Rise there. So already Invili having a bit of a better performance on the Rise than we saw in the previous game. I mean, that's definitely going to help, right, getting a little bit of gold. But I mean, a triple kill to 1 kill is definitely not where you want to be where you are, Fine Dog. But it's definitely the momentum you need building into that. Now, if you could shut down, obviously, Final Wax, there's going to be a little bit of a gold bonus there for Fine Dog for now.
Yeah, I mean, the bonus gold going on to the Rise as well, as I mentioned, is actually really good. You can see he actually has the most gold in the game now, thanks to that shutdown that Rise was able to get. And as we mentioned already, Rise is a champion that wants to get his items as soon as possible and try and get, you know, Archangel stacked up. You know, hopefully Rod of Ages being built this game as well to help him in them jaws, to help him try and come up against some of these more difficult matchups. But in general, it's going to be very, very difficult for the Olaf to try and come back into this game because he's already 1,000 gold behind, and Final Wax is just looking for invade after invade to try and get an advantage.
For now, anyway. I mean, overall, the overall global lead in terms of the gold definitely goes over to Ultimate Baguette, but like he was saying there, he doesn't have it anymore. It's definitely going to go over to Final Wax, having about 4k gold lead now, so he is the head of the curve when it comes to the gold. But with these neutral objectives being up, we're more than likely going to see that Enchanted Ensemble being the priority for both of these teams. Again, the Mountain Drake, probably not the best kind of soul you want to go for if you are going to look to try and like claim that for yourself and your team.
Riven top side. There's a tower dive in the top side that we're missing out on at the moment. It looks like, yep, Riven is going to get the kill onto Jace. Really easy tower dive to make when you have the Wukong with the clone. You have the Riven with the mobility as well. And as you mentioned, that Herald is going to be that priority. Interesting enough, both the supports are in this bottom side at the moment, focusing on that Fiora versus Jax matchup. I think with just Fiora so low on health, it's very difficult to try and for you to try and push out the wave or to try and reset if you don't have any help there. And you can see already, look, Fiora just can't go back to base at the moment, and now she goes back to base, she's just going to be losing a whole wave of minions. So it's so difficult to make that decision whether you want to go back or not. But looks like I'm going to try and look for the tower dive here as well. The knockup missed in the end. Oh no, Heste missed the knockup, but it's fine anyway. They're able to get 1 kill. Rise is going to try and come on through with the ultimate, but the ultimate is just too far away. There's no real catch-up potential there, unfortunately. Rise doesn't have Ghost either, so can't use the movement speed bonus to get to catch up there. And a big win there. That's exactly what Ultimate Baguette were looking for. They were looking to shut down the Fiora on the bot side and look for that tower dive, and it was so well played by them in the end.
It's well played, but I mean, they were able on the side of Fine Dog to kind of mitigate any kind of shield takedowns as well, because I mean, that would have been a lot more gold going over to the side of Ultimate Baguette if they're able to actually get what they wanted, right? Just get some of those turret platings. They got the Fiora, but can they try and contest this blue here? I mean, that we see in the ultimate being procced here from Olaf, it has been committed pretty early, so it means they can go over the Chains of Corruption as well. They'll lock them in place, damage comes through, Riven onto the back line. It's not stopping there. Wukong Patris is going on to Rise as well. Rakan goes down. That is a double kill once more for Ultimate Baguette.
It's just no hope at the moment. It seems like for FindDog, they can't find any advantages across the map. Every time that they try and look for a play, look to defend their own jungle, they are met with death. And that's what's been happening this whole series so far. In game number 1, it was the same. In game number 2 as well, the tower dives are looking clean from Ultimate Baguette. The engages are looking clean. The invades as well. Everything is going in Ultimate Baguette's favor this game.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seemed to paint a picture when we saw the Invader 2v1 up to the top side of the map, and then obviously they could get the Rift Herald as well super easy because no one was there to contest. But I feel like with Nakamura here, he's kind of always procced in the Olaf ultimate a little bit too early because he procs it, it runs out, and that's when he gets kind of like, he's just locked in with CC at that point. Like the enemy, like Ultimate Baguette knows, like, hey guys, let's just use all our CC. He's pretty much done for. Okay, a little bit of a pause here. Maybe was this a bait from Blade Pro here? The Galley ultimate coming through makes me think so, but doesn't actually collect onto any. But the taunt, the knockup does come through as well. Taunt gets channeled in, but Rise gets the kill onto Jax as well. But they are paying that back now. Bear is coming in with the damage as well. Hest is taking a lot of chunk of damage. Oh, the snipe into the backline onto Rise. It's good. This is still a prolonged team fight. Baker Repo looking pretty low as well, but they are pretty able to escape here and just kind of lick their wounds and get back to base.
Wukong wasn't even there. It was basically a 4 versus 5 that whole time, but you're seeing the Varus ultimate, the spread, doing so much work there for the side of Ultimate Baguette, as Olaf is, yeah, you can't defend your own jungle, buddy, when you're 1 HP, unfortunately. Final Axe again, getting another kill. I mean, you're seeing the jungle gold difference at the moment. 3,000, nearly 3,000 gold lead now for the jungle. Final Axe is just running over in this game, proving why he is one of the best junglers in the EMEA.
Yeah, I mean, 7-1-3 is pretty frightful. I mean, one of those, part of that 7-1-3 was a triple kill, obviously, very early on in that game, but then obviously followed by a shutdown for the Rise. But gotta be careful into the top side of the map. We are seeing a bit of a rotation here from Rise and the Rakan here going on to Petrus, but he does use the clone to get out of there. Cyclone as well, but the dash coming in through for the Rakan. Also, quickness being used. He's able to claim the kill. That's a 3v1 for Petrus, so very high target priority there into the top side of the map, but Final Wax may meet his maker as well. He's trying to go with the 3v1. Olaf into there. He does flash over away, trying to get the unstoppable out of the cards, but it's not going to be enough. Delaying the inevitable was Final Wax.
Yeah, Final Wax trying to defend a wave. Unfortunately, against 4 people, it can be a little bit tough, but it was traded back on the other side of the map, though. You can see a tower for a tower in the end, which is pretty okay if you're in Ultimate Baguette's favor. They also are able to get the first dragon of the game, but I think right now for FindDog, what they're trying to do right now is they're trying to get picks across the map. They're trying to find plays where they have a numbers advantage. They're trying to make sure that they can try and get back into this game as slowly and as quickly as possible, really, you know, trying to find the right engages and the right moments, but making sure they don't chase too far. I mean, the big thing there is, you know, finding the Wukong all alone in the side lane, getting the pick there, and then tower diving the Riven afterwards. These are 2 kills that are really good to get, but they're gonna need to find a lot more if they want to try and close this gold gap even more.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the biggest gold gap that we've seen. Obviously, Ultimate Baguette's had a much further lead in game 1, so definitely having a little bit more of a difficult means to get that same kind of gold lead in game number 2 against FindDog is probably the issue that Ultimate Baguette are having right now. But overall, they're still ahead, right? They have obviously 3 turrets over 1. They have at least 8 kills over to the side of Ultimate Baguette as well. So they definitely have the kind of recipe of trying to stunt the growth of FindDog, but they've got to be careful, obviously, of this Rise, because Rise is now actually doing a lot of damage and is 9k gold overall. Definitely the highest gold onto the team. Funneling a lot of those resources over to Rise is, I feel like, their potential win condition for this one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Rise is the one that has all the farm at the moment, 9,300 gold. Again, though, another player that's not going for a Rod of Ages on this Rise, so he's going to be very, very squishy. If he gets dove on by a Riven or even Ultimate Chained or dove on by the Galio or the Wukong, he's going to take, look at that. He just takes so much damage even from a Galio QQ. Yeah. And that's tank Galio as well. So you're already like taking so much damage. You can see there's a dive in onto the backline here, onto the Varus. They're trying to take down the Varus, trying to do enough damage. They do take down the Varus, but Final Axe is still here to play. He gets a reset from his ultimate. He's trying to look on through, flash in onto the Fiora. Really nice parry to stop off the counter-strike in the end. Final Axe is in a bit of trouble though. He jumped over the wall and got stuck in between the towers, towers, unfortunately, and wasn't able to get a kill for himself. So again, Vapo coming out on top, I would say. You know, even trades are always good as part of the game when you're falling behind. If you're able to capitalize on mistakes, this is a great way to come back into the game. The dog.
Yeah, I feel like Fine Dog, they obviously overextended for the Varus, and rightfully so. Obviously, that's a lot of damage for the side of Ultimate Baguette to kind of be chunked out, but they kind of like left open a beeline for Invili on the rise, and they definitely paid, they definitely wanted it, and Ultimate Baguette kind of use that to their potential to take down that damage as well. Kind of mitigating the potential collateral damage that could have come through there, but we're kind of seeing the same, a little bit of a homage for Random's Fiora getting a bit of a macro play style. The Fine Dog opening up these side lanes even more, so T1's traded both in side lanes. The T1 into the mid lane still looking strong, but rooted
There's the Rise
was
damage.
Varus. Rise coming through, very strong with a lot of damage. Riven trying to get away from them, but they're able to use the hero's entrance from the Galio to tear the side of Fine Dog. Going in, it's going to be a double kill for Patra so far, but Fiora looking to try and claim the kill onto the Jax, able to try and get out just with a little bit of help. Petrus trying to tank a lot of that damage as well. The Cyclone coming through. It's still 2v1 onto the Fiora going down once more. But here we are, currently a 4-2 trade for the side of Ultimate Baguette. They are looking to go for Fake Apo as well. Nowhere to run, but other than their maker, there is an ace for Ultimate Baguette.
That was an absolute slugfest of a team fight. That was just so back and forth. I mean, the whole team fight really started from a great pick off by the Rakan and the Rise, shutting down the Varus. And then it's a 4 versus 5, but you're seeing how strong these bruisers and tanks are on the side of Ultimate Baguette. You know, the Wukong being very much unkillable. The jump from Jax onto the backline and the 3-man counter-strike as well was so clean. And then the Galio being there to protect it. You can see Final Wax was waiting for the right moment to go on through. He was over the wall just taking red buff as his team was team fighting, because he knew that he wasn't high enough on health. He wasn't able to try and you know, wasn't able to join the team fight and make a big difference. He cleared through the red buff. He got a little bit of healing thanks to Smite as well, and he was able to rejoin the team fight once the enemies were low enough and get a clean up in the fight.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like you said, it was a slugfest in that one, but obviously Ultimate Baguette got the ultimate kind of finisher, right? They were able to get the ace onto the enemy team. It's definitely put them in a similar standing with, obviously, the gold, right? I mean, only 5k difference. It's pretty much the same it was a few moments ago. So Fine Dog definitely finding ways to get that gold, and right now they are able to get that blue buff as well. Nakamura is able to claim that for himself. Don't want to be losing that at this point in the game, especially to the likes of the Riven.
Interesting. Bandle Fantasy, third item for Rise. The extra mana is definitely going to help out with the damage for Rise, and maybe it just gives you the extra mana that maybe you don't need for Rod of Ages. But no point talking about mana when the Baron boss just being taken underneath your nose, and there's nothing the Fine Dog can really do about it. Olaf tries to flash in to steal it, but he's way too late, unfortunately. Look at that Galio ultimate onto the backline. 3-man knock up onto the backline. It's just a clean wipe here for Ultimate Baguette. The Varus ultimate again, the chain route coming on through, and again it looks like Ultimate Baguette are gonna run to the mid lane, run on through with the Baron buff, and end this game number 2.
Yeah, potential end here for Fine Dog. I mean, they still have around about 20 seconds until their next teammate comes back up, and it's all down to 1-4, 1-4, 1-4, 1-4. I'm not going to keep saying that because that would be terrible, and it feels like a little bit off binary, but no, this is going to be the closing curtain call here for Fine Dog in game 2. They're able to take down the Fiora as well as the Nexus.
Very clean game in the end from Ultimate Baguette. Again, getting that 2-0 at the moment. I think you're seeing the Final Wax especially is making a huge difference in these games. You know, the invades in the early game, the early kills as well. You know, I think that's 2 games in a row now that they've been able to kill off the jungler for Fine Dog. You know, in this game, in Wild Rift, when you die so early as a jungler, you know, you lose the Scuttle Crab, you get invaded in the jungle early on. It's just very difficult to try and come back. I mean, look at the gold difference, 4,000 gold difference in the jungle right now. It's very difficult for them to, you know, for an Olaf to try and come back into that. Again, the Rise got a lot of gold and was very scaled, but again, a very squishy build, and when you don't have the front line to help tank enough of the damage, then you're not going to be able to do too much in these fights.
Yeah, it spells disaster for Invali. I mean, they definitely had a better performance than the Rise in the previous series because they were able to actually get some kills, obviously get the gold that they needed to get the itemization to actually get the potential